DJ Reymo, Power 105.1. I'm here at the Powers Industry, home of new music and entertainment, and this is all about entertainment today. My man Ahmed is here. He's our co-host, and our guest today is the celebrity attorney, the pretty bull. Dawn is in the building. Dawn Florio, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going? But it's pretty pitbull. But
pretty pitbull.
Pretty pitbull.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Celebrity attorney.
Yes.
I can't listen to nothing Ahmed said. He always misinforms me. How you doing?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
I'm good. Welcome to Jersey. Are you from Jersey, New York?
I am actually from the Bronx.
Bronx?
But I practice
BX, baby.
All the way. But I actually practice in New Jersey as well as an attorney.
Okay. Are your offices in Manhattan or in Jersey?
Yes, I have an office on Madison Avenue, and I also in Jersey.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Can we let the people know some of the people you've represented in the past?
Well, actually, I started out with representing people from the Terror Squad.
Okay.
fatjoe is like my brother.
Yes. Ass up, face down. Pristine boys on the watch to make now.
I love Joe, and Joe has been great to me, and he sort of introduced me to the hip hop world, and just because of our friendship and, you know, our family ties, I started getting celebrity clients basically through him.
I heard you represented Remy during her cases.
Yes.
And I don't know who else.
Well, a whole bunch of people.
Well, what is that like, representing all these different celebrities? Naturally, you can't give us details on their cases, but, you know, what is that like? Because you have a very unique situation. Like, you started off just doing regular law, and now you just become this, like, celebrity attorney that everybody seeks out. What is that like?
I think one of the things, I treat everybody just like a human being, and I care about all my clients. So to me, it's just regular. I don't, get hyped or geeked because it's a celebrity, because everybody has their own situation, and you have to absolutely just concentrate on the case and the individual. And one of the challenges I have representing celebrities is that the hiphoppolice, because mark my words, that hiphoppolice, they watch people, right? You all the time. I have a lot of clients that are just like, the hiphoppolice will approach them and say, listen, we're watching you, like, be careful who you hang out with. And that's like a really big challenge because they're all over the place.
So this whole hiphoppolice thing, where did that terminology come from? I mean, you've been in the game for a little bit, so where did that come from exactly?
It's been around for a really long time, and they really do a lot of intelligence and research about, every artist and who has beef, who has beef with this one, that one. They show up at the concerts, they show up at clubs, and they're just watching you at all times. So you have to really be on point. And, I've had situations where a celebrity did a concert, and they just randomly just stopped and searched the celebrity, searched the cars that were behind it, so you just have to really be on point. I've
noticed that a lot of the artists are running around with their attorneys. Is that like a safety cushion that they're coming up with? Because I don't want to say a couple names, but a couple artists, Spanish and English, are running around with their attorneys now. Do you do that sometimes?
Well, actually, fatjoe just gave an interview, and he's just like, yeah, like our attorney's on deck. I told my son, my daughter, like Dawn, that's our attorney. And it's true, because you want that comfort to know, God forbid, something jumps off, like you're protected. And
someone
who
actually cares.
Absolutely.
Right. Attorneys are scary because I always feel like sometimes it's more financially based. And when you have a relationship with a good attorney, like me personally, my attorney, I've known her for probably 15 years. She treats me like she's my mother. She does like real estate attorney though. And anything I do, half the time she doesn't even bill me. It's just like free advice, and she just always caring. And when you could tell when an attorney cares about their client, and I guess that's how you've created your clientele, because they know that you actually care, and you've defended them with passion.
Absolutely, and passion really is the word, because that's why I got involved in being a lawyer. I've been a lawyer over 30 years, and I love what I do so much. I love being on trial. I love defending people. I love protecting the Constitution. And I'm not God. I don't judge people. I don't care if you've committed a crime and you've gotten away with it. That's not my job. My job is to make sure the Constitution is upheld and to defend you hard body. That's what I do.
I need your business card before you leave. I'm not in trouble, but just in case.
You never know.
No, I can appreciate the fact that, you want to defend the process, and that's dope. But I do have one big question. You take EBT cards?
We do payment plans, and sometimes, we do that the DJ discounts. Okay.
Before you were an attorney, you were also a prosecutor in the Bronx, right?
Well, actually, attorneys are like prosecutors are attorneys. Like, you know, when you graduate law school, you're an attorney. And so, I mean, one of the benefits I think about being on the other side is that as a prosecutor, I did maybe like 30 murder trials. So it just gave me so much experience. Wow. And as a defense attorney, I see how the prosecutors move. And, you know, not that you just have that sort of like, you know, that balance. So when I approach a case, I'll be like, okay, how does a prosecutor approach it? And I think it's absolutely been a benefit. And I was an assistant district attorney in the Bronx for maybe like 12 years. Like, and there, like, I had that book smart, but being a prosecutor, I got that common sense and that street kind of credibility, you know. And as you know, they say like I'm hood famous, you know, like in a lot of different areas. I represent a lot of you know, people from different gangs. And actually a lot of people be like, oh, you know, but you represented this gang and now you're representing. They don't care. As long as you can get them home and they can come home to their family, they really don't care. Like I've represented YGs and competing gangs and things of that nature. And you know, gangs, it's you know, it's an area that the government through RICO is dismantling them one by one. We saw that with 9 Trey, with the Tekashi case.
And even in the mafia is back, you know, it's bigger than just the gangs.
The gangs are the new mafia right now. Like the mafia is pretty much like
they did what they were supposed to do with this RICO stuff.
Now they're doing with the gangs, you know, and RICO, that conspiracy charge, it's very, very powerful. You're never coming home.
What does that mean, like to the people, so that they know not to fall into that trap?
So it's basically a Racketeering Influence Corruption Act. That's what it stands for. But basically, it's like if you're in a gang, okay, and you have a common goal, you know, and for example, like with the 9 Trey case, with Tekashi's case, it was like anything in furtherance of the gang. You didn't even have to commit a particular act. But if one of your gang members, you're held responsible for everybody in the gang if you had the common scheme or plan. Wow. So it's just like, you know, you have an agreement to commit a crime. And if one person does something in furtherance of that, you know, you go down just like everybody else. So pretty much
by association, they will give you a charge. Like,
so it's not so much association, but you actually have to do something illegal. Like, for example, say like the blood members. Just because you're a blood member doesn't mean, you know, you're doing something illegal. But if you do an illegal act in furtherance of blood activity, that can bring you a RICO charge. So like I see with young teenagers, they get caught up in a group, and you know the government terms it a gang, and then they group everybody together, and then you have a federal indictment
for the entire group.
You actually have to be careful of who you spend your time with and who you associate with, because you can absolutely get caught up in the whole situation. And even if you do one crime, and if you're with that particular group, you're going to go down on a RICO.
Most importantly, speaking on the phones is where usually those cases
come
together.
You know, like you get in trouble talking on your girl looks at your phone and you know, records, like and listen to the conversations. The same thing. You got to stay off the phones, because that's how conspiracies. You tell on yourself. You tell on yourself. That's how people get in trouble, because they tell on themselves because they're on the phone. Right. And they have the wiretaps, they record you, and it might not even be your phone. You could be listening, the government can be listening to someone else's phone, and you just happen to have a conversation with them. Now they're on your phone. Right. So stay off those phones.
You're in the mix now.
Yeah.
Ahmed, don't call me no more, right? Only in person. And I want you to put your hand over your mouth when you speak to me, okay?
Those code things, they decipher. The government deciphers all the code, so you think you're good. You're talking in code,
they get it. It'll take rocket science for you to say the same word every time, and then it creates something.
So, and the other advice I can give you is like stay off of social media, with respect to any, you know, all the people flashing the money and the jewelry, and you know that is just an accident waiting to happen, because the government looks at social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like you have no privacy. Like the same thing before, you could commit a crime in daylight and no one would ever find out. Now there's video surveillance all over the place. Like truly, Big Brother is watching. Like if you're gonna do something, don't do it with anybody else, because if you do it with someone else, it's a conspiracy. And don't do it outside. Do it in the privacy of your own home.
You know what's sad though? Like at the same time, our social media, not me per se, but people flash dance to show money, show that. They could be creating an act, an illusion, like a movie. Like why people are holding you accountable for something you could be faking on Instagram. Like everything is not real on Instagram, right? But people could be creating an illusion for marketing, for branding.
But it makes you a target.
That's what I'm trying to explain, like to the kids that are watching, thinking, I'm gonna fake this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that.
Or like they throw up gang signs.
Right. Just to be cool, when in reality you're just creating yourself as a target.
So the one thing that I love about my job is, I do a lot of murder cases. They, like I say, murder is my specialty. So, sometimes I save people's lives, you get them off of a very serious charge, but especially with the youths and people that are involved in gangs, I try to like mentor them afterwards. So like when you get your new life back, you don't go back to the same life again. And I think we don't have we don't have positive role models. So it's so important that, even though I may not look like a lot of my clients, I'm a female, I really try to be like a mother figure to them and just sort of guide them on the right, path. Because what's the sense, like I've taken so many people out of jail to go right back in again. Right. And that really hurts me. So I really try to mentor people, and I try to, set a good example and help them with jobs and
to change their ways, right?
Yeah, change their ways, change their thinking.
Sometimes people are their own biggest enemy.
And I think a lot of people get involved in gangs is because they don't have that good family structure. They get a lot of love and support from the people on the block, but yet if they had that support at home, they wouldn't be looking for that love someplace else.
I agree.
What's the most, as far as a celebrity case, what's the most difficult situation you've had since you've been representing artists and stuff like that?
So I would say probably the Tekashi case, because I can't really talk about the case.
No, you don't have to get into details, just what presented
December
the difficulties.
18th, but because of the whole situation with, him cooperating, a lot of people in my circle, don't support that. And everyone, that's a personal decision that everyone makes. But I've gotten a lot of flack from other, I guess, celebrities because I represented someone who cooperated. So I think that's sort of been difficult, but I'm a very loyal person.
So let me ask you this before you continue. Do you feel like you're catching that flack? Are they blaming you like, oh, you encouraged him to cooperate?
No, it's just that I'm associated with someone because I like really represent a lot of gangbangers and, real violent gangs. And then to represent someone who is actually, cooperating with the federal government. And sort of that's not what I do. But my client, I have to represent my client. If that's what my client wants to do, that's what we do. Because at the end of the day, it's their life. I'm just there to support, that they've already made that decision. But yeah, I've gotten a lot of flack from that.
So no one has blamed you? Like, oh, it's your fault that he's cooperating.
Oh, no.
You advised him? Okay.
Absolutely not. It's just that I think because I'm rocking with this person, because that's my client and that's my job, ethically, that's my job. I don't like drop a client just because they decide to cooperate,
No. That's not my question. My question is that maybe they're blaming you for him. Like, let's just be real. They blaming you for him snitching.
Well, actually, I got, when I got called by my client to come and represent me, I was actually getting an award in Providence, Rhode Island. So he started cooperating even before I got in there. So once you start cooperating.
So he didn't talk to you before he decided to do this
correct.
deal?
He had another
I want to
lawyer
make
at the
that
time.
clear. And I'm going to say the reason, and I don't mean to cut you off. I want to make sure that people understand what your position is, but also what he decides to do or what the client decides to do is what they want to do. Because sometimes people will look at it, oh, you had this, you offer legal advice to this guy, and all of a sudden now he's cooperating. So it's your legal advice, so you're making him a snitch.
Correct.
But that's not the case. He made that decision to cooperate prior to being involved with you.
Correct.
Okay.
And even if a client decides to cooperate, it's really their decision. You have to, as your job as an attorney, you have to support what they want to do. You can't talk them out of doing something or unless you feel it's the right thing to do.
So Kim Kardashian says she wants to become an attorney. What do you think about that?
I think that, I don't really know Kim like on a personal level.
But this is your craft. So
right.
This is why I'm asking.
I think it's amazing when women, I know that Kim has supported, Centoya Brown, and she's very active in trying to help people. I think that if Kim wants to be an attorney, that's great. We need strong female attorneys. This is a very male-dominated area. And I remember first coming up, like it was a little bit difficult to get that kind of respect and that street credibility. But I think I'm at that level now that people respect me and they know like what I can do. But starting out, like it's not easy. But I give it to Kim. Like, you know, she has a lot of influence and she has a big platform. So she has helped a lot of people. So give it up to Kim.
Is she like cheating the system to become an attorney? Like a faster way? I don't remember what I saw, but
yeah. So like obviously I went to back in the days because you know I've been doing this for a long time.
You went through the whole
3 years of law school.
Yeah, give us your schools you went to. Tell us.
So I went to Boston University. I had gotten a scholarship there to play tennis and to row on, you know, crew. And then after that, I went to St. John's Law School.
In Queens?
Yes, St. John's. And then I opened, I was in the Bronx DA's office, you know, putting a lot of people in jail. Then I switched over and now I take everybody out of jail. And I had my own law firm. I had a law firm in Washington Heights. Then I was in the Bronx for a while. Then now I'm on Madison Avenue.
What is your thoughts of like them closing the jail now? They want to close Rikers
Rikers?
Island.
Oh my God!
I know that's something that must you could.
Well, I
touch
live
on
in
that
Rikers.
more.
Like every weekend, I'm in Rikers because I represent a lot of people who are charged with very serious crimes. So I'm one of those lawyers who actually go to Rikers like every weekend. Like one day I'll go to the state jail, another day I'll go to the federal jail.
Oh, there's more than one in there? I've never been to Rikers, so there's
No. So Rikers is actually like a state facility, but
Okay.
I also do a lot of federal cases. So there's like MCC and MDC in Brooklyn.
Oh, wow.
So those are like federal facilities. But I'm like literally, if I wouldn't be here today, I would be in the jail, like visiting my clients.
Oh, wow.
And the oh my God, the conditions are horrible, like absolutely horrible. So I mean, you know, I think the solution is, and now with the Criminal Justice Reform Act. So I think, you know, we're taking the right steps, but there's sort of like baby steps. There's so much more that we can do. But, you know, my thing is like, except for the serious crimes, I don't believe people should be in jail,
Right.
except, you know, there's a lot of people in jail that like have committed minor crimes because they don't have the money, they can't get out. Now with the Bail Reform Act, like everyone pretty much is going to be out of jail, except, you know, for example, like even drug cases now, they're redoing the bail situation, except for major drug traffickers. They're still gonna, you know, have bail.
Right.
But, you know, you should not be punished just because you're charged with a crime. Because at the end of the day, like so many people are unfairly imprisoned for no reason, and they win their cases later on. You know, so unless you're a flight risk or unless it's like a murder case, you know, I don't believe in people like with such high bails because it comes down to economics. Like if you have the money, you can bail out if you're rich. But what about, you know, our people who don't have the money to get out? They're just stuck in jail. Remember, like Browder, he killed himself in jail. I mean, it's just horrible.
Yeah,
you know,
that was
like,
very touchy.
Oh my God, like that was a horrible situation. And you have these young people who I think that have never been in trouble before that are around like people that are hardened criminals, like gang members, especially young people who are traumatized by that situation. So, you know, I mean, jail, of course, is appropriate in some circumstances, but it's basically
it is a financial thing. It is.
Like
if you could afford to fight it.
If you got the money, you got a good lawyer. You got, you know, you can be out on. It's so different, you know.
I heard my barber knows a partner that's a barber also, that his girlfriend was in his apartment in the Bronx. He walks in and she was with another dude. He got mad. He hit him, hit the girl with a laptop. He went to court. He didn't have the money to really fight it, so they offered him, take this or not, we're going to give you 10 years. He fought it, lost, and got 10 years for just an assault because he couldn't afford to really fight it. He had to go in there with public defenders and stuff. Like, it's really, if you could afford to get to defend yourself, I think you get a better chance. And it's sad that it's a financial situation.
I think a lot of times, you know, like money talks, and
that's why I was borrowing my money from like Reymo.
Oh, great.
And you know, you need everything's expensive. You need an expert witness. You need a private investigator. You know, you need a great lawyer. You know, and a lot of times people just don't have the resources, so they'll just cop out,
right?
And they're really innocent. And you know, like I won't take a plea unless my client is really guilty. Like some people be like, no, I don't want to fight the case. I'm like, I morally, I can't have someone plead guilty to someone
I
something they
support that.
didn't
That's
do.
dope.
Right.
That is beautiful that you do that. A lot of attorneys don't.
Attorneys like, you can't afford to go to jail. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
No,
now
and
they
like-
just milking it. It's like, we can't get any more money. And I'm just speaking from an outside person, just looking at the legal suit. We can't get any more money out of the situation. Then
And I think like a really good lawyer, like you have to like, you know, sort of walk in that person's shoes. And, you know, I think so many attorneys, like it's like you said, it's all about the money, right? And of course, you know, I want to get paid for my services, but
you deserve
like
to.
my prices are not like crazy because my thing is I love to help people. And, you know, I want to make a difference. So if I can save one young man's life or one young woman's life, you know, that's just the start. And like, you know, I just want to do it on a larger level. Like I didn't become a criminal defense attorney to get rich because I could have, you know, done a lot of other things, but I just get so much satisfaction in like, you know, really saving people's lives and fighting for freedom, because that's what it's all about, freedom.
Right. It is. It's all about freedom.
And you can't put a price on freedom. So a lot of times, you know, a lot of these, I think attorneys, like they see it like as like you're a number. I see you as an individual.
Right.
And I really get to know the person, get to know their background. But when we go to battle, like, you know, I know everything about you. I know what color underwears you wear. You know, like I really do my homework and my research. Yeah. Right.
Getting back to what I was asking about the Rikers Island thing. So a lot now they're supposed to be splitting it up and going to different boroughs. And
Correct.
a lot of boroughs, the community is kind of like rejecting or angry about, outraged about it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So like, what's the solution? Because, you know, to every problem, there's a solution. I'm trying to figure out what.
Do you agree with that or no?
Is that going to be better if they split people up in different, put a jail here, put a jail in Queens, put a jail in Brooklyn? Like, is that going to be better to keep them all in one place? I know that obviously Rikers is not needs to be upgraded and updated and needs change, but going to different boroughs, is that the answer?
I mean, jail is jail. I could definitely see how people in the community would not want a jail like in their backyard.
Right.
But, you know, at the end of the day, you have to really do what's best for, you know, society. And having Rikers Island it's just a horrible place.
It's inhumane.
That, you know, it's really inhumane. Right. I mean, the treatment that goes on, not even in Rikers, but in a lot of different jails, you know, inmates really have no rights. They're treated like animals. So I think the solution more is less jails and more like, you know, situations where people will get their trials quicker. Obviously,
less jail sentencing, you're saying?
Yes.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So less sentencing will create less people, less population.
Yes.
Right.
And I think that's the whole I think predominant like thought about the Criminal Justice Reform Act, you know, also turning over discovery a lot faster, like within 15 days now you have to turn over your paperwork. Like, you know, in most boroughs, you do not even get your paperwork till you're right on trial. Like, how can you investigate it? How can a lawyer be prepared?
You get a folder when you're walking into the courtroom.
Yeah, like, okay,
here's your
first
file.
witness, right? And it's so unfair.
Wow.
And I definitely see the other side too, that, you know, there'll be a lot more witness intimidation because people have, you know, the names and addresses of witnesses. So, you know, it's
Oh, that's the reason why they hold it back, so they don't put it out, so to protect people's addresses and information. I always wonder why they did that. Like, why would you?
In New Jersey, you get everything. So I think New Jersey, although they don't have speedy trial, it's like a situation where it's more fair. But in New York, it's crazy. You don't get any paperwork.
I don't want to say they're like lynching people, but they're just like, you don't get no information. You're on their own, and then court date. Here, attorney, here's your file. Figure it out.
So there's got to be a better balance.
Sounds about right.
Got to be a better balance somehow.
I think maybe, I don't know, I'm techie. I like gadgets and computers. I think it should be more a digital situation where it's like a password protected and the attorney should get it whenever, sooner, a lot sooner, but it's protected, it's encrypted, and it's like no one else is going to see it. And when you close the file, nobody else can see it, instead of old school paperwork.
But what about sharing it with your client?
But then you can share the file with that one person, password correctly. And when you shut it off, you shut it off.
I like that.
Can we patent that and create a system for that? I can make a mobile app with your whole trial on a mobile app. I like techie stuff. I'm sorry.
I like it.
You know, I think it's dope, the work that you've done, man. And I know you have a bunch of clients waiting to see you, so we're not gonna hold you too much longer. Thank you for stopping in and talking to us. You know what I mean?
Let's ask her. Is there anything you want to?
Yeah, I want
promote to
you.
you.
Know, what is it you'd like to tell our viewers right now as it relates to law? And aside from being a celebrity, I'm a regular person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is it? What are the key things we should be looking out for as people?
So the
color?
key thing I would say is just be mindful of what you post on social media. Stay off the phones. Like, never speak on the phones about anything. All the phone calls at Rikers Island or the jails are recorded. Just be mindful because there's video cameras every place. Like,
yeah.
And you know, DNA, you know, fingerprints, you know, CSI land, you know, there's so much technology now. You have to be so careful about how you move. And, you know, with respect to like ordinary people, you know, just be mindful about, you know, the technology is so advanced now that, you know, if you are going to do a crime, make sure you have a good lawyer.
Thank you for coming out, man, and
so
sharing
much.
your knowledge with us, man. And we definitely want to invite you back if you're open to that.
I would like you to promote your practice, give you your Instagram, your websites, and things like that.
So my Instagram is Dawn.
You're in the Bronx, right? BX, baby. Let's go.
All day, stand up Bronx. My Instagram is Dawn, M, middle initial, Florio, Florio.
That sounds Spanish, Florio.
Italian.
Son tan crazy.
I'm so Latin. So.
Well, we
You look Puerto Rican though. I didn't think she was Italian. I thought she was gonna say I'm Puerto Rican. Like, yo, you have to get that a couple hours.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm Latina, I'm Italian. It's all the same.
Oh, you're mixed.
No, like I'm really Italian, but like Italian to me is like Latin too. You know.
Yeah,
okay, that's
almost
what's up.
Spanish. Well, we appreciate you for coming through.
Thank you so much.
It's been an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
We can have intelligent conversation. No disrespect to all the other guests. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming out.
Bye, everybody.